What's up, cousins? Anthony Jones here, and this is chapter 3 of my John boat to bass boat build on the 12-footer. This video is my final video of my full transom replacement I did on this boat. So in this video, you'll see a 100% complete transom. Thank you guys so much for joining me and supporting me as I build this boat. Stay tuned for more content. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 1 inch by 1 inch, 1/16 angled aluminum, and I'm going to cut it. I'm going to wrap this thing like so. All right, I got my piece of 1/16 angled aluminum cut. It's straight. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to make a mark here. And I'm going to make a mark over there on that part. And then I'm going to transfer that around to here to the back side, and I'm going to cut a slit. Then I'm going to start to bend this, and then eventually what's going to happen is I'm going to notch out enough aluminum to mimic the transom shape and just kind of bend it all into place. You'll see as I move along. Got the piece all cut to fit. All I did was just notch some material out and then bend it over. I left the top solid just to make that bend, and now I'm going to drill some holes and then attach it. I'm going to add a little bit of this Ultra construction adhesive to the top of this Now that it's tacked up, I'm going to go ahead and start drilling some pilot holes and then running some screws through the aluminum into the transom. Okay, all done with that. That turned out really nice. I like the look for sure. And a quick note, I left 10 inches in between these middle two screws for my motor to actually go over and not hit any screw heads. Now I'm going to focus my attention on doing the corner braces. I took that 16th angled aluminum, okay, and I cut it to mimic this shape. This will overlap. I'm gonna attach this here. I'm gonna attach this here, and then I'll fill it in with some metal. I'm gonna go ahead and take this and copy it onto another piece of aluminum and then cut it out. This is all with an angle grinder. Okay. The only thing I could tell you is if you're attempting this, to just be very patient and take your time. It's always good to have more than you need than make it cut too short and then waste the piece. But this is what I came up with. And this is where I tell you that I wish I could weld. And now I am brainstorming on how I want to fill that in with sheet metal. I'm just going to go ahead and take the old recip saw and cut out the middle bench. I'm going to cut out some of this metal. This is going to get removed eventually, but for now I'm just going to recycle this sheet metal and use that in the back. Status update. What I'm doing here is I've got that metal, and I have just slowly over time I've cut it and cut it and cut it and cut it, and I am just gently cutting off material a little bit at a time, and I'm just trying to get this shape exact. Okay, before I attach all of these things or trim any more of this off, I want to attach this piece to this piece. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to mount this 1¼ 1/16 flat aluminum to the underside of this angled to create a lip, and then rivet this to that, and then I'll have one solid piece I can work with. This part is all mocked up. I use the hammer to shape it. I've got a slight angle here to match the transom. And then I've rolled the edge as best as possible to overlap it. And it's cut to fit. Guys, this is just mocked up right now. And this is an example of why my builds take as long as they do. But as you can see, it's not even attached yet. Finished with this side. And I'm very, very satisfied with how it turned out. Now, it's on to repeating the process on the other side. Okay, where I'm at with this piece of metal is I've cut it. I've got the back edge exactly how I want it. I've got this side edge exactly how I want it. I've left an excess of material, and then I've left this rear flap open so I could bend it over and replicate that shape. I'm rolling this edge to actually cover the gap in there that's no longer the original structural piece. So that's kind of what I'm going to try to do over here. I've left this odd shape because when I start bending this and rolling this, I'm just going to start slowly trimming that material off. So I've given myself more than enough. I've never done any metal work before, guys. I used to watch a lot of American Chopper, just using a hammer, and I've got this odd shape piece of wood here, a scrap wood, and that's how I made that roll in it. And I'm doing all my shaping either on the boat with the hammer, but once I get the basic shape on the boat, I'm transferring that over to a wood block to do the final shaping. But that's basically how I'm doing this metal shaping to do this piece. All right, got the other side made. This piece is all fabricated up, and now I'm going to go ahead and permanently mount it in the boat to match this side. Okay, that's all done, and this is almost completely done. The one thing I'm going to do is how I did this aluminum on the back side. I'm going to repeat the process and overlap it here. And I'm just going to cut the piece to the angle of this, and that will be a completed transom cap. Okay, so basically I've gotten an overall measurement, and then I cut my length. Okay, then I came in 1.5 inches, and then I cut a relief joint. All right, then that allows me to be able to bend that over, and then I just started cutting my angles. I've yet to do this side. Guys, I can't really step by step this one. It's a lot of eyeballing and cutting and back and forth, but I will get this piece to fit in here as tight as I can get it and then mount it. Okay, and that is it with the transom. Everything is all done, and you'll notice there's 2 more bolts over here, and then there's 2 bolts over here that I added. It's a total of 11 bolts holding this thing together, and then of course all the screws and rivets tying everything in. But these bolts on the side actually go to these brackets. So stay tuned for the next video to find out what that's all about. Don't miss a video. Subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for future content as I document my 12-foot John boat to bass boat build.